What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Today is Wednesday, May 10th, 2023. My name's Jeremy, and this is my first cup. Who is here? I want to say good morning to all of you. Good morning to Brian, Mark, Frank, Jenny, Dennis, and all the rest of you out there. No matter when you're watching, how you're watching or listening, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming by. How was your Tuesday, everyone? How was it? Was it good? I did not go to the office yesterday. Andrew and I recorded a couple podcast episodes. We planned a few things behind the scenes, some back office sort of stuff. Recorded some video for a client's website, kind of an interview thing. It was kind of neat, kind of connecting aspects of what I do for a martial arts school. Went to the gym, did a little bit of work outside, found that the supposed not cold enough to be a frost temperature we've had the last couple of nights did turn into a frost. And admittedly, I knew it was a risk. Plants that I had put out did not make it. So started more seeds and planted seeds in the dirt. And it was 31 when I woke up. It's cold. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, Andy. It was a good day. Got a bunch of other stuff done. What was the other thing I did towards the end of the day? Client stuff. I feel like there was something in the middle. Oh, there's a whole bunch of monthly reporting stuff that I did for clients that it's not enjoyable work, but it has to be done. It sets the tone. It connects dots. It's necessary work, but there's a whole bunch of them. I got a bunch of clients, so I've got a bunch of reports to do, and doing roughly the same report over and over kind of makes my brain hurt. So I put it off a couple days, but I did them all yesterday. It was a good day. Went to the gym. Did not have an enjoyable time at the gym. My shoulder's got a thing going on. My calves got a thing going on. So I was limited on what I did. I forgot my earbuds. And one of my least favorite people was at the gym. And he doesn't stop talking. Ever. So add all that up. I was there about 30 minutes. If that. Yeah. But it's okay. I went. I still went. And today should be a little bit, how do I want to describe today? I think I've only got 2 client calls, maybe even just one. Just one. And all the rest is just a bunch of behind the scenes work, getting tasks done. This morning, I've got some quick hits I'm going to do for the podcast. If you've noticed, we haven't had any of those in a while. And I'm okay with that. I don't need it to be something that happens every time, every week, because if it is, it's going to be a little less special. But I figured I'd do some up, put them out there, and yeah, we'll see where they take us. I want to know about you. I want to know about your Tuesday. I want to know what's going on for your Wednesday. I want to know what you're looking forward to, etc., etc. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else I want to tell you all? It was colder yesterday. It was 60 degrees, but I still had the doors and the top off the Jeep, driving around in sweatpants and a sweatshirt with the seat heater on. perfectly fine by me. Camera's a little higher than I would like. Let's fix that. There we go. And today's supposed to be almost 70. And the rest of the week, the rest of the 10-day forecast has good weather. I don't think I saw anything below 40, which I'm very excited about. Yeah, it's 30 degrees right now. The lowest I see in the next 10 days, Saturday, we have a low of 38, which could mean a frost here. So I'll watch as we get closer. Because the plan is to put some stuff out Saturday morning. Which, yes, it is early to plant things in where I am. Normally we would wait for Memorial Day. Yeah. I have a hard time in my brain remembering Memorial Day versus Labor Day. Andy says, testing weekend coming up. Yep. Good luck. And tomorrow is 80. Well, we'll see if that happens here. I don't see 80 on my forecast, but for those of you who don't know, Andy lives on the western side of Vermont. We have a whole mountain range in between us, and the weather can be quite different. Kelly's got a busy day, driving to 4 different places today. One is to meet my dad for his doctor's appointment. He originally had banned all family members from going, but I'm going anyway. I'm thinking due to his dementia, he'll forget, and getting ready for testing. Good morning to you, Nick. Sounds like a big, busy day. Good luck. I hope your father is not too inconvenienced by your arrival. My back is all tweaking now, too. I might need a new bed. I don't know. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with my mattress, but maybe my body's changed. That's interesting. I am considering a new mattress. I've been considering a new mattress. Does anybody out there have a mattress that they absolutely love? And why? See, one of the things I find is that people, when we spend a bunch of money on things, we convince ourselves that they're great. This is the big challenge for me, is that so many people, I see them do this. You should get this car. I love mine. Okay, why? Well, right. You should do this martial art. Okay, why? Well, my instructor's great. Okay, have you been to other schools before? No. Then how do you know? Right. I think a lot of us, for a lot of the things that we do, we take the simple way. And the simple way is, let's just give it a shot. And if we don't hate it, we'll call it great and charge forward. And I think that happens in a lot of things. And so what I'll probably end up doing, maybe I can get a massage later today. We will see. Because my body is asking for it. Words. I lost my train of thought. It's okay. Frank says there are sources that test things like Consumer Reports. Absolutely. And they are right on a lot of things. Back in my computer days, they were horribly wrong on their computer stuff, often. Because the quality control what it really comes down to is quality control. Do they get a good one or a bad one? And for cars, people send in their information. They're not surveying people on the computer printer they buy. So you got to take everything that they say with some caution. But I actually do have, they did an issue. It's probably the only magazine I subscribe to right now. They did one on sleep, and I've got it sitting over there to take a look. But here's the challenge. Just because it's good quality doesn't mean it's going to do what you want it to do. I like a really squishy mattress. I like a soft mattress. I like, when you go to some hotels and you lay on the mattress and you sink in, I like that kind of mattress. That's very hard to find on the consumer side. Kelly says, we bit the bullet and got a Sleep Number bed. I know Andy really likes it. I do think I sleep a little better with it, but very expensive. Brian says, purple mattress, nothing like it on the market. A few of my family have and love them. One is an officer with back issues from duty belts. And those anecdotes mean something, but at the same time, what kind of mattress did they have before? What is their body like? How much do they move? Do they sleep on their front, back, or side? Like, there are so many variables in here that it becomes really challenging. And this is where I will likely buy whatever I buy, whenever I buy. We'll probably get one of these mattresses where you have some like 100 night, 300 night, whatever trial period, where if you say, I don't like it, they'll deal with it. I'm probably going to do that because you can't know laying in a showroom for 5 minutes. And that's how I picked out this one. And it was fine, but compared to what I had before, it was a huge step up. And for years, it's been great. Some of what's going on is also my physical body. My body has changed. Over the last month or so, I've lost quite a bit of body fat. And so that's a cushion. It's a cushion between me and the mattress that is no longer there. But purple is on the list of things. Yeah. Jenny says, exactly. Mattress test drives don't indicate how a full night will go, or weeks and months, because you have good nights of sleep and bad nights of sleep. How many of you have ever had an amazing night's sleep in a weird place, like somebody's couch? And how many of you have had a terrible night's sleep in your own bed? Right? There's a lot of variability. Sleep is fascinating. And I know that the quality of my sleep has, thanks to this thing, is not where I thought it was. And so it's becoming a thing that I'm addressing. Like it's becoming a priority. I'm done renovating this room, and the next room really is the bedroom, but I haven't been focused on that. Maybe that's something I will pick up the pieces on soon. Kelly says, the Sleep Number can be adjusted nightly with softness, and then it does adjust with you as you move. They spend a couple hours going over, helping you figure out what works for you. That's awesome. Yeah, there are a lot of beds like that now that will adjust based on your needs. The big new thing is around temperature, and there are a few companies that are doing that, but the cost of the technology is still very, very high, so I'm probably not going there. It's basically a fan that blows into a quilt called BedJet. And that one's got good reviews, and it's on the low end. I sleep hot. This summer, if I'm out working in the yard, or I go to the gym, or I go for a hike and I come back, I sleep very hot. And I don't have windows that easily facilitate an air conditioner, and I don't like the noise. I try to sleep quiet. So it's a whole thing. It's a whole pain in the butt thing. Frank with his puns. Maybe you should go undercover to find the best mattress. As martial artists, one of the things that I think we struggle with most is acknowledging the importance of recovery. Because we go to class and it's go, 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 go. And a lot of times instructors don't, especially old school instructors, they don't want to hear it if you have an injury or you have something that could become an injury. I've heard old school instructors refer to, or people who think they're old school instructors refer to vitamin I, as if taking a whole bunch of ibuprofen to get from one day to the next is a good idea. It's not. Don't do that. It should all balance out. There are times when you train hard. There are times when you don't. You can always train. There's always a way to train, but it doesn't all have to be at 100%. Kelly, thank you, but no thank you. Jenny says, oh my gosh, vitamin I, my stomach hurts just thinking about that. Yeah. I get it. Now, our next thing, because we've had a good chat this morning, Frank sent over some stuff, and we're still doing Carl Jung quotes. We've got a few more that we'll go through today. I don't know what is in store for tomorrow. Kelly says, oh, in the beginning of class, all my little kiddos have to tell me about all their boo-boos. Yeah, I believe that. Thank you to Frank for all you do for the show. Thank you to Josh for our theme song, and thank you to Denise for the audio. We don't really heal anything. We simply let it go. Now, of course, we're not talking about physical healing there, although letting go of the stress of a physical injury could be beneficial. But we're talking about emotional trauma or stress or someone having wronged you. Pardon me, I got a sneeze brewing. No, I think I'm good. I don't know that I agree with this, but I understand the perspective. There are people who have wronged me. I'm sure you all have people who have wronged you. And there can be a tendency to hold on to that. And I think part of that tendency comes from our desire to make sure somebody else doesn't wrong us in that way, and that we definitely don't let that same person do the same thing to us again. But does carrying that grudge or holding on to that wound help anything? And in most cases, no, it doesn't. There are certainly people out there who are holding on to some wound that you caused for them. You've probably forgotten about it. They haven't, but you have. And once I realized that made a big difference for me. Everybody's the hero in their own story. And you are a side character, a assisting cast member. They don't think about you as much as you think about them, because you're the hero in your own story. And for supporting cast to hurt you throws off the story. Or doesn't. We cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. We cannot change anything until we accept it. Yeah. Until you acknowledge what it is for what it is, it cannot be anything else. If you try to call a fish a bird, well, it's a silly analogy. It becomes very difficult. Oh, here's a good one. If you're an instructor and you keep telling your students that they're great at something and they're not, how do they become better? In fact, the more you tell someone they're great at something, the less they're going to improve. That doesn't mean that you have to go the opposite end and say you're terrible and you suck at life. But you could say, that was better. Now try this. You're doing better. I recognize your effort. Keep trying. Good job. Now how about this? Now let's add this. There are so many ways to do that. I think often in life, and I'm thinking of examples that I'm not going to say, we have allowed the pendulum to swing so wide that we don't acknowledge certain things for what they are. And in many cases, possibly most, that does people a disservice. the less likely you are to acknowledge the reality of anything, the more you hinder progress, growth. If someone has a terrible diet and they constantly eat poorly, and you you compliment them on that, that doesn't help them. If someone is bad at their job and they're constantly told they're great at their job, they won't get better. They might get worse. Here's an example that will probably land pretty heavy for a few of you. If someone treats you poorly and you permit them to, and even reward or support their treatment of you, they'll never change. And they'll continue to treat other people in that way. Kelly says, I feel like that is the problem with giving grand champion trophies to all ranks. A beginner at the first tournament winning grand champion tends to send the message that they are already the best and doesn't motivate them to continue to train hard. It could, but likely someone will pass them and then they'll get that message. It's a good point. Competition is full of conflicting lessons. But they're lessons that I think are valuable nonetheless, because they're difficult to illustrate in other ways. Let's see what the last one is. Wisdom accepts that all things have two sides. I wholeheartedly disagree. There are infinite sides because there are infinite perspectives. There's one side to watch on a TV, but you have a slightly different experience sitting in front of it than if someone sits 4 feet to the side. Have you ever found yourself too far to the edge of a TV and it hinders your viewing experience? Or maybe you're at a movie and you're closer than you would like to be, further back. A whole bunch of people with a slightly different perspective. I inherently resist turning things into A or B dichotomies. It is so rare that something is truly A or B. Even coins have an edge. While very unlikely, if you flip a coin enough times, one of the flips will land on the edge. It happens. It's rare, but it happens. And I understand the instinct to fall into a this or that camp on a subject because it's simple, because it means we don't have to do work. Because it's usually easier to go, well, this or that, and I already know that I don't like this, so I must like that. That's a terrible way to live. Pineapple pizza. You either have to love it or hate it. Can it just be okay? Can it be something you're like, if I'm out with friends and they all want pineapple on their pizza, I'll eat it. It's not my favorite. That's not hating it. Or how about, yeah, pineapple's fine on pizza. I don't want it every time. That's not love it or hate it. There's middle ground. There's a near infinite amount of middle ground. Frank says, maybe Carl Jung, was talking about how some people are so filled with how right they are. And I think that's very similar to what I'm saying. When people say that they're right on something, they're suggesting that a differing opinion is wrong, when I would say in most cases, unless we're talking something that truly is objective, which is quite rare in our lives. Math is a good example. Even the real world implementations of math or physics carry some subjectivity to them, some variance. Talk to 3 different builders and they'll give you 3 different ways to build certain elements of a house. They can all work. Is one more right than another? Depends. Are we valuing cost or speed of build or aesthetics or longevity? Those could all lead to different answers. See, I don't like looking for the right and the wrong. I don't like looking for those dismissive elements. I like looking for all of the answers and understanding under what circumstances some of them may work. That's how I was raised in the martial arts. Here are techniques that may not work for you, but you may have a student one day that they will work for. If you were at All-In Weekend, we talked about the logic about and the math, and I've talked about this at other times too, that if you only ever take your martial arts from your single instructor, martial arts deteriorates over time. You'll never be your instructor. You might get 99.99% of what they are, which is unlikely. And then your students will get 99.99% of that. Well, if we keep carrying that out, it gets worse. You've got to add some other stuff in somewhere. Otherwise, martial arts doesn't progress, it regresses. And that's a shame. So when we talk about this quote, wisdom accepts that all things have 2 sides, I reject it because I think we should be constantly looking for all of the sides, all of the perspectives, the potential answers, justifications, information that exist in any subject or discussion. One of the things I was trained on in high school in debate was you have to understand both sides of a discussion very well because you're going to have to argue both sides. Tell you what, if you could force people in life to argue the opposite perspective of what they believe, I bet you we'd have a much different world. If people had to understand their, quote, enemy, things become a lot simpler. Or I should say easier, not simpler. They do become easier because you recognize that the person who disagrees with you, it's only on small bits that they disagree. Most of the time, we all want the same things. We want to be safe. We want to be happy. We want to be healthy. We have different ideas of how to get there. So whenever someone starts with this person or this group of people want this terrible thing to happen, I know that that's someone who has not put in any effort to try to understand an opposing viewpoint. People don't actually want terrible things to happen to other people, generally. There are some exceptions, but it is incredibly rare and far more rare than the media or popular culture or just people with a voice would have you believe. I understand what you're saying, Frank. I hope you have a great day. Reminder. Here, let me stop sharing that. Reminder, we've got a new YouTube page at First Cup. There's nobody watching on YouTube right now, and it suggests to me that people probably did not follow that new page. As always, most of you are on Facebook. We are not changing Twitch. not anytime soon. So have a great day. Be well. Consider supporting us in all the ways that you might. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Peace.